I don't know what was happening there. That's funny. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another BeatStars Academy session. Hosted by myself, Levi Beats, and Jamil, as always. Hope everyone's doing well. How you doing today, Jamil?
I am doing well. I think I added myself, and then you tried to add me, and
Yeah, and then
it kicked me out.
yeah,
We're
I
always
was
we always got really good coordination going on.
Yeah,
That's
we
for
do.
sure.
It's good stuff. I think I was trying to unmute you as well, and you was muting yourself. So it's kind of cool. So yeah, today's session, we're excited. We're going to be talking about BeatStars promote strategy. So we're going to talk about how you can best utilize BeatStars to promote to its full extent and full potential. Excuse my face today, guys. I think I've caught a bit of the sun, and this lighting doesn't really help. So my face is extremely red, as you can see. So I'm looking forward to today's show. We're going to have a quiz, I believe, at the end of the show as well. So make sure you stick around for that, as always, to have a chance of being featured on our official BeatStars Academy playlist. So yeah, I guess we can kind of get started, unless you had anything else you wanted to kind of say or announce, Jamil.
No, just as always, check in with the current opportunities posted on BeatStars. We had a little bit of a cosmetic change on the marketplace. Hope you guys are liking that, enjoying it, finding it easy to navigate around. As always, if you have any questions about anything that we're talking about on the show or anything else about the platform, this is one of the best places to ask. Just wherever you're watching from YouTube, Twitch, just pop your question or comment in the chat, and we'll try to get to everybody. You know?
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, we're going to start. We're going to do kind of like we did a couple of weeks ago. We're going to have like a slideshow. We're going to take you through a presentation, and we're going to start talking about BeatStars Promote, all the different features and stuff like that. So let's get started. I'll just share my screen. Just let me know when you can. Oh, we can see it. Cool. Okay. So promote strategy guide, BeatStars Promote strategy guide. So let's click on the next page. So we're going to talk about the three different types of promotion that you can do via BeatStars using our promote system. We've got tracks, albums, and profile. We're going to speak about them individually, and then we're going to give you some tips on how to best utilize each three of these different forms of promotion. So we'll click on the next one. Jamil, please feel free to stop me if you want to add anything, or if someone's asking a question in the chat, because I can't see the screen because I'm on this presentation. So let's click
For
onto the
sure,
next
I'm keeping
page.
an eye on it.
Yes. So tracks. The first tip we have for setting up track promotions is to set up your ad campaigns to work alongside new releases and marketing. So what does that mean to you, Jamil?
That means that you just want to make sure your marketing efforts and your advertising are working together, to maximize your ability to make sales. When you have new releases, you should be doing things like sending out email blasts. You should be changing your featured track on your profile and your pro page. You should be sending out coupon codes. You should be posting on social media, as well as running your ads all at the same time. You want to put all of these marketing efforts, you want to have all these marketing efforts ready at the same time you're running your ads, because you're paying for that ad space. So you want to make sure it goes the furthest it could possibly go by getting all that other stuff set up at the same time. When you combine all of these avenues of outreach, and make sure you're covering both your existing audience and your prospective new customers. People that are already signed up to your mailing list, they might not need to have some of those things ready, but you want to make sure you have different just like different things ready while you're paying for space. You want to make sure you're taking advantage of that.
Yeah,
um,
exactly. It's going to kind of help boost it in a sense, isn't it? Because like you said, you're going to have all of that content available. Like you said, with the email marketing, make sure that it's tying up with your new releases alongside with your promotions. So yeah, definitely, that's a great tip for utilizing track promotion in the best way. Sorry, did you want to add something else there?
I was just going to say that, and if you do all these things at the end of your campaign, you can look at your numbers to see how effectively your campaign worked, to see if you need to make adjustments. Sometimes the effectiveness of an ad campaign doesn't just have to be measured in impressions, free downloads and sales. You could also use your other marketing kind of campaign benchmarks to see how effective it was. If you just wanted to get like email signups, if you wanted to see if you could potentially get new followers on Instagram, if you wanted to see if you could get new subs on YouTube, if you combine all these things at once, it gives you like more like tools to measure how effective it was. And then you'll be able to know right away if the campaign was effective or not, because you're looking at all of that stuff kind of like right at the point of the ad campaign.
Definitely. No, I totally agree with that. Some great tips there. So we can move on to tip number 2. So tip number 2 is to enable free downloads on your beats. Now, why is this really important? So when you're promoting a track, you want to try to utilize, again, like what Jamil was just saying about tip number 1, is to utilize this opportunity in the best way possible. So you're utilizing that space. You've got this ad running. So having the free downloads option open kind of draws your customers in a bit more. It's going to allow them to download the track for free, to test it out, test the water, see what they want to do with it. But also, you're either going to get depending on how you set this up, you're either going to get a social follow, or you're going to get, an email, which is important because we was just talking about, having your email marketing set up correctly when you're tying in with your ads. So this is a really, really cool way to kind of like benefit and utilize promotion as well by enabling free downloads on your beats. So I think that's probably a given that you should do that anyway. And that's something I personally do myself, and I find it very, very useful to grab those emails from those people that are downloading those free beats. And obviously, whilst you're promoting, you're kind of like putting that content in front of people, so you're more than likely going to get more interest. So it makes good sense to have that option available for those beats that you're promoting, for sure. Was there anything that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like ads are pretty temporary, right? Depending on how long you keep them up. Obviously, you can keep them continuous, but you can run an ad campaign for just one day.
Yeah.
And for however long you run the ad campaign, as soon as it's gone, it's done, right? As soon as like it expires, your ads are taken off the platform. So it's kind of like a temporary thing. But if you enable free downloads, you're kind of giving yourself the opportunity to lengthen lengthen like your point of contact with a customer, right? If you get a free
Yep.
download and you exchange it for a follow on social, or you exchange it for an email address, now they can kind of like be hooked into a lot of the other things that you're doing, whether you're posting a lot on social, you're trying to focus more on email and sending out email blasts. It allows you to stay in touch with them for longer, instead of just having like that temporary ad where either they see it, they click on it and listen to it, and they buy it, or they don't buy it, right? If you don't have a free download enabled, that's kind of like the best case scenario. They'll add it to a playlist potentially, but they can't download it to like keep it on, maybe to keep it like on their personal devices, or to stay in touch with you like they would if you get a social follow or an email sign up. So yeah, that's why I always think it's a good idea, because if they listen to it and they like it, but they're not decided, some people aren't just kind of like browsing BeatStars and looking to make a purchase right now. Some people may just be like testing the waters and maybe like grouping together like big bunches of beats that they like, or maybe they're just trying to like find something to freestyle on really quick. So if you don't have free downloads enabled, you're kind of restricting yourself to either making a sale right away or not making the sale right away. With free downloads, you extend that period of people considering to buy your beat. At least I feel like.
Exactly. And another thing, this is just from my personal experience as well, using the BeatStars platform, is I've seen this quite a few times, just what you're saying there, Jamil, where I've enabled the free download on a beat, which I generally do for all my tracks anyway. But then I would promoted a specific track based on, my release schedule. And I actually noticed, I've noticed this quite often, that a lot of my customers have like downloaded the beats first. and then they've come back, a week or 2 weeks later. In fact, even had it, they've come back the day after and made the purchase. And obviously I've been able to utilize the BeatStars stats to figure that out, because I get all of that information and data. So that's another cool thing, and that's really something that I've personally experienced myself. And I was going to say something else about utilizing socials. You could obviously as well, if you have like a schedule set for content uploads on socials as well. If you're exchanging a free download for a follow on your socials, obviously they're going to start seeing that content. So like Jamil was saying, you might only promote a track for one day, but if you've enabled the free download for an exchange of something like a follow, like we're saying, then you've got their potential attention for like the foreseeable future, right? So all of that new content that you're going to be putting out on socials, whether it's like new beats that you've been uploading as well, they're going to see all of that. So it's just a real good way to like initially start boosting your kind of like your content, your brand and stuff like that. So I think again, no, I think it should be done. If you're running track promotions, you should definitely have your free downloads enabled for sure. I think so, because the scope of that to go further is just it's just endless in my opinion. So
For sure.
okay,
Yeah, no, I really liked what you said about that, where when you run an ad for one beat, you're kind of just advertising that one beat. But if you advertise yourself, like
yep,
you would with a free download, where people are able to see more of your content by subscribing to whatever they subscribe to based on your
yep,
preference, you have the chance to advertise multiple beats.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, you're yeah, I mean that's a very good point as well, and that could be either through email marketing or social follow. So whether it's BeatStars, Instagram, wherever, yeah, I think it's great. It's a great way to definitely utilize your ads better. Cool. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to change your track titles to include your bulk deals or discounts. So what do we mean like that? So if you are promoting a specific track and you are currently running a discount, bulk deal, something like that, you could change your track title to include either that discount code or the bulk deal. So to give you an example, so say you had a track called, I don't know, Raspberry Ripple, because we always talk about that track on BeatStars Academy. So we had Raspberry Ripple, and then just at the end of that, we just had, say, like buy one, get two, three. And that's just kind of a way to show the people that are going to see your ads that you are running a bulk deal. So it might intrigue them even more to kind of like engage with that content, potentially, buy something if they see something else that they like as well. And then the same kind of thing with a discount code too. Like if you're running a discount code, could be a seasonal thing or just, just something that you're running at that time. You can include that in there as well. So they think, oh, this is great. I'm going to get a discount code, a discount when I purchase this track, and it's already there for them. They haven't got to go hunting for it. It's there for them. So you kind of, in a sense, not just promoting your track, but you're also promoting yourself as a business, and you're promoting your discounts and your bulk deals because it's in the title. So I think that's another cool thing to do. And I've seen people do that a lot. And it's really, really cool. So did you have anything else to add to that? I think that one's pretty straightforward, isn't it? In terms of like changing your track titles and stuff.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I would also say that you're able to change your display name at any
Yep.
point too. If you
Yep.
wanted to do that, you could put, if you have a current, if you're running an ad campaign and you want to try to take advantage of the ad campaign by running some sort of discount or coupon code, you could put that coupon code in your display name and they will see your display name as well when they look at the track titles. So all of those things, are things that you can kind of do to like sort of like try to, to take advantage, so to say, of your ad campaign by trying to make your beat look as appealing as possible on whatever section of the website it appears on. So you can at least get a play and at least sort of spark people's interest.
Yeah.
Sometimes using things like emojis and using things like capital letters and saying like special promotion or bulk deal. Having that when people see that in their search results, in like that little ad space on the when they're browsing for tracks, and they don't see that on any other track, they'll probably click on it. So
Yeah.
that can kind of help you make a sale or get a download.
Yeah, I mean, you could even add something in there, like say, for instance, we're going to talk about this in a minute, but I notice some producers on BeatStars, they will put their discount codes or their BOGO deals in their bio. You could even, if you already have that in there, you could even just put in there C bio for discount or something, if you can fit all those words in there. I was going to say something else as well, that maybe you could even utilize the artwork. So maybe if you're thinking about promoting a specific track, you could change the artwork, and you could add some text on the artwork as well that's in bold and it shows some kind of coupon code or discount that you're offering. So just another way to like utilize that promotion when you're getting it in front of people, so it's another way to do that. Did we have any other tips that we might want to go over that we had on our sheet before we move on to albums? But I think we've covered tracks quite well. Was there any kind of other tips that you had in your mind after talking about this, Jamil, like that people could potentially utilize for tracks?
For tracks,
Sorry to put you on the
we'll
spot.
probably relate a lot of these things
Yeah,
in albums and in profile. But yeah, the things that come to mind kind of go hand in hand with with setting up your profile a little bit more, with potential deals, discounts, a lot more information. So if you
yeah,
do get those like visits from people, that may be like a one-time visit, if they're getting to your page through an ad, you want to try to capture their attention, before your ad goes away and you lose that opportunity with them. But we'll
yeah.
probably get to all of those things,
I was going to
during
say, yeah,
profile and albums.
like you said, that all of these kind of coexist with one another anyway. So,
Mhm.
okay, so let's move on to albums. So, the first tip we have for albums is to create albums based on trending searches and run ads on those. So, what do we mean by this? So, we're talking about trending searches on BeatStars, but just trending searches in general. We did a show once, and we talked about Google Trends. If you want to go back and check that out on our YouTube channel, because that's got a lot of useful information on there, how to utilize that. So let's give you an example. I think we had Little Baby as an example, I think, instead of Drake as
Yeah.
usual. So let's go with Little
Mhm.
Baby. So say Little Baby was releasing an album next week, say, and you know that you've got a bunch of tracks in your catalog that's all based around that kind of genre, that kind of style of artist. You could go ahead and create an album. Of course, we'd hope that you'd already have an album anyway, if you had that many tracks for a specific artist. But if you already had one, if not, you can go and create one, of course, and then run that ads to coincide with a release for that artist. So the idea of that is obviously, if that say Lil Baby's releasing an album, it's already going to kind of get some general organic traffic potentially, right? Because people are going to be searching for that if they know, that artist is dropping an album or something or other, or they're just trending in general. Then you can run this ad at the same time whilst that kind of artist is trending. It kind of helps in a sense potentially to kind of like boost the ad to get the full extent out of it. So I think that's a really, really cool idea and something to think about for sure. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that, Jamil?
Um, yeah, I mean, like just to reiterate, like albums are a great way to promote multiple tracks at once.
Hmm.
Um, but you want to make sure those tracks in the album are related,
Yes.
because that's really important. Or else people are going to lose interest and probably won't give every track in the album a chance. Something that we see a lot is grouping albums together by like genre, but they're like different. Not every trap beat has the same elements that everybody's looking for. Even within like a genre like trap, where most of the stuff, can sound pretty similar, and it's a pretty good umbrella term. but there are just different things within that genre that different people find appealing, and different people want to rap over. Some people like higher BPM, some people like lower. Some people like something that's a little bit harder. Some people like things that are more melodic. All of these things can vary, and sort of like grouping together things that aren't really that closely related. People might click on one, and if the next one isn't what they were looking for, they might just kind of abandon it. So, like Levi was saying, we think a great way is to do that by like artists. So group it together
Yeah.
by one artist, because that's probably a little bit closer than just grouping by a genre itself. So yeah, if you see like an artist like Little Baby trending, and if you have multiple tracks that sound like Little Baby or Little Baby type beats, you'll want to be able to group those together. So when people are searching for things like that, instead of listening to one track and then searching for another, people will really appreciate the convenience that an album provides. Even if they're not looking to buy that many tracks, it's just a really simple way to just like click and listen to like 10 tracks in a row that are labeled as the thing that you're looking for. So yeah, it just provides a lot of convenience. And it does offer them a bonus that a track doesn't, which is getting like multiple licenses for one single price. So if that's something that you're willing to do, give a little bit of a discount for people buying an entire album, you can put together like a good price for them, which is
Yeah.
we're going to get to in tip number 2, to be able to entice them a little bit more to make a purchase and get multiple beats instead of one.
Yeah, and also if a specific genre or specific artist is popping at the time, even on BeatStars, when you're checking the BeatStars trending searches, if you see that, there's a lot of people searching for a specific type of track, that's probably the best time, like I say, to promote that, promote that album. Even a track, to be honest with you, could use this for tracks as well. And there was something else I was going to say as well. Like, if you have, 10 tracks, how many other tracks you've got in the album, obviously those visitors that are seeing the ad, they might not like all of the beats, like Jamil was saying, in the album, but there might be one or two that they like. So just because you're promoting an album, it doesn't mean that those people can't go away and just purchase one of those tracks in that album. So it's also a cool way to, like Jamil was saying just earlier, is that it's a way of promoting just more than one track at any one given time. So rather than having tons of different tracks running at the same time and you're paying for them separately, you can just pay for one promotion for an album and promote 10 tracks at once. So it's kind of get more value for money. So that's a really cool way to look at it as well. So yeah, let's go on to tip 2. So as Jamil was talking about just there, making sure that you offer a good deal on your premium licenses for your beat albums. Sorry. So yeah, so like this kind of like helps to entice. It's something that we always say, with an album, you're offering it's kind of like a bulk deal in a sense, isn't it? If you think about it, you've got, how many other tracks you've got in the album, and you're, selling them for a slightly cheaper price than what it would be if they was to buy each track individually. So it's just a good way to put them all in one package and just, let them take it away in all one package, which is great. Everyone loves a great deal, right? So that's we're saying, make sure that you've got these deals available when you're promoting these albums to get the best chance of building that engagement and getting those sales. So it's just again, just a way to utilize promotion in the best way possible. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Jamil?
Yeah, I would just say that, really like take some time to think about your pricing on albums, because you want to make sure it's a good deal. But obviously, nobody wants to give away too big of a discount and make things like too cheap to where you feel like you're not really getting a lot of value out of it. So just make sure, you're going into selling an album with kind of pricing that sort of makes sense for you and for your customers. The reason that we highlight premium licenses is because for premium licenses, with more rights, with licenses with more files, you're able to charge more, and people will be more attracted to buying those licenses if they feel like they're getting a good deal. So I would say just really think about your pricing. a way that a lot of people do it is kind of like, it's kind of like one-to-one, where they're doing it where they're just charging exactly how much it would cost if people were buying individual tracks. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think it would be really cool for producers to be able to say, if you're buying like 8 to 10 tracks from me, you get at least like a discount of one of them off for the single price of an album. I think people would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's totally up to you. And you can keep your pricing kind of the same way as it would be with a single track. But I think people will kind of, you know, people will be really intrigued if they see a high number of tracks and a lower cost, obviously. But that's just something to think about. Make sure your pricing is balanced to where it's not just like a crazy price hike for the higher tiers and really cheap for the lower ones, because you do want people to get those higher tier ones. Just make sure your pricing is like consistent and makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's plenty of ways to utilize that, and like, there's no right or wrong really. And like with this is, a lot of the time we say it's all about testing, so you can test and see what works best for you. So that would be our tip for tip number 2. Tip number 3: make your album releases coincide with your marketing campaigns. So similar to kind of like what we were talking about with tracks, um, where you just want to make sure that everything's running together. So if you're, releasing an album and you're promoting it through your email marketing or social media, you're sharing all of the. I've seen people do this quite often on Instagram specifically. They've got like a bunch of tracks that they've put together and they've compiled it into an album, and you can, listen to each track individually, just like snippets. I think something like 10, 15 seconds of it. So if you're kind of doing some stuff like that, you know, coincide that promotion for when you're doing that with your socials and your email marketing and stuff like that. So just so it again, it kind of helps. It just makes more sense to be promoting it at that time rather than just promoting it at any other time when you could do, and it's just try to get the best out of that ad space that you're using at that specific time. So that would be tip number 3. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that? I think it's fairly straightforward when you talk about, coinciding it with your marketing campaigns and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can move on to profile, because we're probably going to have more to say about that. Make
Yeah,
sure we leave enough
definitely.
time for the quiz.
I would like to know as well, people in the chat, if they can, if you are using BeatStars promotion already, if you could just let us know what is your favorite form of promotion. So is it tracks, albums, or profile? I'm actually going to tell you my favorite one right now, since we're going to be talking about this in a second, is actually profile. I really love the BeatStars profile promotion. I've just seen so much success with that personally myself, and I've been running it consistently for a long, long time, and it just works wonders. So yeah, let's talk about BeatStars profile promote. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so tip number 1, and we kind of covered a little bit of this already. So update your bio to include your latest deals, special promotions, and holiday events. Utilize that real estate to its fullest. I really like that saying there. Utilize that real estate to its fullest, because that's pretty much what it is, right? It's your real estate, so it's your opportunity to communicate automatically with your potential customers. So make sure that your bio is up to date. It includes, if you want to put contact information in there, you can. Make sure you put that in there. Make sure that you put your latest deals in there. So if you're running any kind of like promotions, or sorry, any kind of like discount codes or bulk deals, make sure you put those in there. And any kind of special promotions and holiday events. This is pretty cool stuff. And so you can utilize that real estate in its fullest. Make sure you take make sure you do utilize that real estate to its fullest for sure. Did you have anything you wanted to kind of add in there? What kind of other stuff could you put in your bio, in terms of when you're promoting your profile, other than what we've just said there?
I mean, there's a lot of things that you could put. in your profile. The bio, is your chance to write anything you want and communicate anything you want with your customers. It's promoting on your profile and having everything that's in your profile is really, your chance to let the customer know everything that you want. So it's your chance to let them know all the important information about your store. That's where you let them know who you are, what your latest deals are. You can tell them about your mailing list, or you can write a limited time offer like a bulk discount or a coupon code. This is your chance to talk to new and existing customers. Like that's what it really like. That's what sending people to your profile offers that a single track or an album wouldn't. Just more chance to let them know who you are and kind of like what you're about. When you have things like coupon codes and bulk discounts, it's going to encourage customers to make purchases more quickly, especially if you write in your bio things like, this is a limited time offer while I have my ad running for whatever the period is, whether it's a few days or a week. This is also when you're running profile ads, this is also a good time to change your track titles to include bulk discounts. Because if people are clicking on your profile, they'll see that on every track that you have it available, instead of just one. And this is where you could talk to your customers. This is where you could tell people what you got.
It's endless, and like this, I was just thinking of stuff there when you was talking. To entice people in, you can maybe even ask them a question. You could even put a question in there. To try and get some engagement, try to get them to contact you, so you can build that conversation with them. You could even just put in something like contact me at this. Contact me via BeatStars, via my BeatStars profile, to receive a discount code. So you could even do that. So you might not want to publicly put the discount code out there, but you might want to offer that to some people that are showing some interest, that are actually reaching out to you. So you could even do something like that. And then once they start messaging you, you can start asking more questions like, "Hey, what beats are you interested in on my profile? I'm running this deal at the moment." Because obviously there's only so much you can kind of like get across in your bio, in a sense. So if you wanted to like kind of, I guess, like build a bit more of a rapport and build that conversation with them, you can just put contact me here for more info, or something along those lines. So you can get really playful with it and just test things out and see what works for you. So yeah, we've covered that tip pretty well. Tip number 2: make sure everything you offer in your store is active and up to date. Make sure every product in your store is ready for purchase. So, this means like making sure that your licenses are tying up, making sure that your prices match and everything's set up correctly. Make sure that you've got all of your, all of the files available if when people are ready to purchase. Make sure that you are utilizing all of the BeatStars features in terms of like content that you can upload. So tracks, albums, playlists as well, because that's pretty cool as well. If people are, especially if you're promoting your profile, because it's another form of people listening to your content in one big place. Services, sound kits, all that kind of stuff like that there. And that's the benefit of promoting your profile. You're not just promoting one piece of content, right? You're promoting all of the content that you've got in your account. So if you're going to decide to promote your profile, you want to make sure that you're utilizing all of that to get the best opportunity possible, So because you're promoting your profile, it might be it could be a producer looking around, comes across your profile, and he sees that you do some kind of service, say, I don't know, logo design or something like that, or artwork design or something. Could be anything, So they might not necessarily be interested in buying a beat off you, but they might be interested in getting a service off you. So it's just another way of, building that engagement again. So yeah, just make sure you're utilizing everything possible. Was there anything you wanted to add to that, Jamil?
Yeah, I think a good place to start, if you are kind of just thinking like, okay, that's like a lot to think about, I think a good place to start would be to do like a full profile audit.
Yeah.
So go on your BeatStars profile and check to make sure everything that you like we were saying is active and up to date. Consider updating your artwork on your tracks, maybe even your profile picture. Maybe go through and update your licenses, so you can see if there's anything in there that that you're not comfortable with anymore, that you've been neglecting on changing for a while. Try creating a membership plan. It can't
Yep.
hurt. Just anything that can give you an advantage, and also eliminate that FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, of like, oh man, I wish I got so many profile visits during my profile ad. I wish I had my sound kit uploaded that I've been working on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just make sure all that stuff is ready, so you're really satisfied with your campaign by the end of it.
Yeah. And also as well, one of the most important things which we missed was, well, we didn't miss, but is to make sure that you have your payment methods available. So make sure you've got your PayPal and your Stripe connected. That those are obviously the most important things on BeatStars, to make sure you get your sales, right? Make sure you get your money. So that's also another good time to make sure that that is all up and running if you're running these advertisements, because the last thing you want to be doing is running these ads and then finding out that there's some kind of issue within your account. So make sure you check all of that beforehand.
Yeah, you
Cool.
definitely don't want to run an ad for an incomplete profile.
Exactly. Definitely not.
It'll be a waste of your time, a waste of your money if you're
I
not
see.
able to really take advantage of all those things. So check all of your tracks with collaborators, especially. Make sure you could still add
Yep.
those to your cart. Make sure none of your collaborators have changed their payment methods and created an issue of any kind. Make sure all of your licenses are active for all of your tracks. Maybe you were uploading a track in a hurry and you forgot to upload the track stems. So all this time that you've had it available, people haven't been able to buy your premium licenses with track stems. Just do like a total audit before you run an ad for your profile.
Definitely. Yeah. Because not having your track stems you know, could be the reason why you don't make the sale, because they're only interested in the license that includes that. So who knows? So yeah, just make
Mhm.
sure that's in there. Okay, let's move on to tip number 3. Double check your social links are working and all of your contact info is listed. This is a really, really another important one. The amount of times that I've clicked on a profile where I see it's being promoted, and I try to check them out on their socials to see how active they are, if they've got anything else that's going on. Always kind of like to find out a bit more about people. If I can't find their information in their bio, I always try to check their socials. And I kind of always get frustrated because if I don't see them there, or if I click on it and it doesn't work. So definitely make sure that those social links are up to date, they're working, and obviously more importantly, check to make sure that your contact info is listed somewhere. So you can list that in your bio, of course, and stuff and places like that. The other thing I was going to say there, I lost train of thought. What was I going to say? Help me, Jimmy. I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, make sure your social links are working. As I said, the amount of times I've clicked on a social link and there's something wrong with it, or there's no social links there at all. So definitely make sure that you've got those up to date for sure.
For sure. Yeah, no, but people change their handles all the
Yep.
time on social. It could even be some sort of like update that you didn't know or was out of your control within some of these platforms, to where links can become inactive. And it's not necessarily even your fault. It's just something that happened without you knowing about it. So yeah, this is another one where we're talking about like making sure you're auditing your page. Everything is good to go. When you're kind of like in the heat, in the mode of like just making beats, uploading, doing customer service, doing your marketing, you might neglect these things for a while without even realizing that you need to check up on them. So before you spend money running an ad campaign, check everything in your profile, check your bio, like we were talking about earlier in tip number 1. Make sure your contact info is up to date on there. And also check up on your email marketing. If you have
Yeah.
people signing up for free downloads, and you have a welcome campaign that you wrote like a million years ago, and it doesn't like include all of your updated info, it doesn't have your deals in there, it doesn't have your updated tracks, If you're including those in marketing, in your email marketing, just make sure everything is updated and ready to go.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, make sure that you've got your BeatStars notifications enabled as well. Because if you're promoting your profile and people go to your profile and they message you and you haven't got your notifications on and you miss that message, that's a potential loss of customer potentially. So make sure you've got those on, and obviously make sure if you are running your profile, make sure that you're checking those messages regularly. So just to make sure that you're not missing out on something. Yeah, there was another thing I was going to say. Yeah, with regards to socials as well, this just came to mind as well. If this kind of happens quite often because the way social media algorithms change, they change pretty often, and you may all of a sudden stop really utilizing Instagram, and you've decided to switch over and use TikTok more because it fits more your type of audience. And let's say the last video you uploaded on Instagram was 2 years ago, say for instance, just to argue, that's a bit far-fetched, but just say that you might want to consider removing Instagram potentially from your social links. So it's important to obviously make sure that those social links are there, but it's probably also important to make sure that those social links that are there, you're fairly active on, right? Because obviously that can um, kind of just help your customers to see the type of engagement that you're getting, kind of thing. Sorry, I just dropped something. So yeah, just making sure that you're active. They might want, if you're not very active on Instagram, as I was saying, and they go to your profile and there's nothing there, it's kind of a waste of you putting the link there, to be fair. So it's just another thing to think about too. As I said, sometimes you might find that Instagram's not working for you anymore and you switch to another platform. Yeah, that's just something to consider too. So just thought I'd put that out there.
All right, cool. We can check out the chat right now to see if there's any quick questions that we can answer, and then
Yes.
we can go ahead and do the quiz.
Yes. Let me. We're
So
finished
I'll
with this.
remove that for you.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Okay, let's just
Let's
read
have a
through
look.
this. Shout out to producer Whisper watching us today. Appreciate you, sir. Thank
Oh,
you,
he says he sent
Cloud9.
me a message. Let me check. What has he sent me?
Yeah, sometimes it's good to make sure you have a lot of beats on your profile. Some people like that. Some people with small amounts of beats can also find success on there. Success varies, but if you find that it's more helpful to have a lot of beats, maybe wait till you have a larger catalog before you run a promotion.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a good one. Great tips.
I think both of these things are really important. I think um, it's interesting. So if you're talking about strictly BeatStars promote, that's not necessarily related to your pro page itself. So if you wanted to run ads on the marketplace, which is what BeatStars promote does to get more profile visits or to get more plays on a track from within beatstars.com, I could say you can go ahead and start paying for promotions first if you'd like. If you were to run like Google ads or something, then you'd probably want to send people to your pro page. So I'd make sure your pro page looks good first. But yeah, you shouldn't. You don't need to have your pro page not being exactly where you want it to be inhibit you from running any ad, because those ads are just on the marketplace anyways, and people will just go to your marketplace profile.
Yeah. What else have we got in here?
For sure.
Yeah.
If you run an ad on an album, I'm not sure of the price difference in running an ad. Obviously,
It's the
like,
same.
it's the same. Yeah, I
I
know
believe
sometimes
so.
it could vary. It's not always the same for like every kind of amount of plays or impressions, things like that can vary. But
Oh, I
yeah,
see what you mean. Yeah.
but when it comes to it, if you're talking about what will get you more beats featured, an album will get more beats featured for sure than just one track.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to answer this one. What are good budgets for straight single track promos? I'm pretty limited, so $5 a day may make the trick. Yeah, I mean, it is all really based on your budget, really. And obviously, the BeatStars ads are impression based. So the more you spend, the more impressions that you're going to gain. So the more times that your ads are going to appear on the BeatStars platform across all the different places. So yeah, I mean, I would suggest try the minimum, which is $5 a day. Try that and see the type of results that you get, and then go from there. And obviously utilize everything that we've said today. Making sure that everything's tying up together. Making sure that you're checking out the trending searches and stuff like that to get the best and the most out of running that campaign at that specific time. So.
And also one more thing, if you do have limited amounts of beats, if you only have a few beats on your profile or in your catalog uploaded, I would just recommend doing an ad for a single track. I wouldn't do things like profile promotions or album promotions until you have more beats, but don't let a small number of beats stop you from running an ad campaign, because it could still be really useful. And obviously it can get you more exposure at an earlier stage.
Exactly.
So I still think it's something really worth considering, just running an ad on your track, just to get more followers, start building up an audience, especially if you're new.
Yeah, and one thing I actually noticed quite a lot, and this happens to me quite a lot, which is one of the other reasons why I love BeatStars Promote, is that I tend to find when I'm running a track, or even track or profile, either or actually, I get a lot more notifications of my beats being added to playlists. I don't mean the BeatStars playlist. I'm talking about, people that utilize the platform. So artists, even sometimes other producers that, just love listening to music. So what's that doing? That's naturally like increasing your plays and your exposure on BeatStars. So I've noticed that a ton, that a lot of my content, tracks, and stuff like that, when I'm promoting either or when I'm promoting my profile or a specific track, I'm getting so many more being added to playlists. I'm getting notifications pretty much daily of tracks being added to playlists. So I mean, that's really cool, because either that's an artist thinking about purchasing beats at a later date, or it might be something that they're interested in purchasing, and they're just trying to get the feel for it. It's definitely great. Yes, so we're at the favorite part of our show, which is the quiz. Make sure you join us at www.kahoot.it, or you can download the app. And the game pin for this today's show is 7787791. You can also use the barcode if you want to do that and quickly get access to the app as well. You can do that, or the website. Let's go. So obviously the quiz is going to be about everything we spoke about today. So hopefully you've all been tuning in and listening to what we're saying, because it's going to help you with the questions for sure. Another tip for this quiz, if you're new to it, is to actually access this on the app. Sorry, not the app, your mobile device, because I believe it's a little bit quicker. But also as well, you can, if you're on a computer watching this, you don't have to flick through the screens to quickly answer the question, because the quicker you answer, the more points you get. Basically.
For sure. We have the show every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Every 2 weeks on Wednesdays. Okay, I'm gonna do my weekly changing camera thing.
Switch.
Yeah. Especially when I screen share, I lose like 1% battery every 5 seconds. So my computer's gonna die. So give me 1 second.
Cloud9 says he's just gonna watch the quiz today. He doesn't want to get excited. He's on medicine. Yeah, I believe I heard that he's got a bad back or something. So I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm seeing some new people in the quiz, which is cool.
Sure. If you just scan that QR code,
yep.
You can join that way, or you can go to that website that it says at the top, kahoot.it, then put in this game pin. We'll start
you can join it
in about a minute. Yeah, and you can join if it takes you an extra second. Don't worry, you can join at any time. And
Yeah.
there's double points at the end to make up for
Yeah.
anything you miss. All right, coming up on the start here in a few. I'm not aware of that sound bite. I've never heard that before. Is that from a song? All right, we're gonna start it now. As always, feel free to join. The game pin will be at the bottom of the page. Okay, question 1. What can an album offer that a track cannot? Artwork, multiple beat licenses for one single price, non-exclusive licenses, voice tags.
Just looking at the GIF.
Yeah, Rosalia, one of my favorite artists. If anybody likes Rosalia, let me know in the chat.
These guys make me laugh.
That's a new Levi type beat. That's what
yeah.
I wonder if one day we'll get the producer of these beats in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So you can get multiple beat licenses for one single price with an album. All those other things are available on tracks as well. But yeah, an album, you could sell multiple beats, multiple licenses for one price. So it could be a really great deal for your customers, and it can help you make larger sales just because people are going to be more willing to pay more for more beats.
Yep. Just bigger opportunities, potential.
All right. Fantastic. Coming strong again with G Life and Concilius. All right. Let's go to the next question. There's 5 questions total in this quiz.
Yeah.
Okay, true or false? You can enable free downloads for beats. As you can tell, I really went deep in my bag for this quiz.
And the GIF.
And the GIF. Corgis, so cute, man.
Yeah.
Do you have any pets, Lee? Or have you ever had any pets?
No, unfortunately I can't where I'm currently residing. But I do hope to have pets one day. I usually most of my friends have pets, so I choose my friends if they have pets. So then I've kind of got a pet to go and see every now and again.
I guess the Corgi was based because everybody got that one right.
Yes,
it's true. You can have free downloads for beats. I hope everybody knew that. And I hope nobody learned that today. But if you did, that is awesome. Glad to.
By the way, just to clarify there, if you don't have pets, it doesn't mean I wouldn't be your friend. It was just I was just joking.
No, commit to it. Don't start backpedaling now, man. Commit to it. You hate people that don't have pets.
No, that's not true.
I'm kidding. Okay, so Grandtastic is still in first. Consiglius moved up. G Life is still in there with Fifi Beats. Not too far behind.
That's very true, Grandtastic. I could probably get a fish.
Yeah, if your place doesn't allow fish, I mean, come on, kind of place.
Yeah, I know.
Which of these ad options allows you to communicate information with customers most effectively? Albums, tracks, sound kits, or profile? Bonus question for the chat. What's everyone's favorite dragon type Pokemon? I don't know. I might go with it's tough. I like Salamence a lot, but I think Dragonite, just for sentimental value. Owen likes Dragonite too. Charizard, that's another good one. Garchomp is so strong. I like Garchomp, but I don't know, something about his design. I don't like it as much as Salamence or Charizard.
Apparently, DJ Payne won as a Charizard. Never knew that.
I didn't know that either. In real life, or yeah, profile. You can write in your bio. You can have a bunch of things listed there that tracks, albums, and sound kits don't exist as ads. That was a trick. That was a trick one.
Yeah,
but
that was a trick.
yeah,
Yeah.
tracks and albums don't allow you to say as much as a profile would. Okay, Fifi Beeps moved into the top 3. This is exciting. This is going to come down to the wire. We got 2 questions left. This next one is a true false. You're able to change track names for existing tracks whenever you like.
Oh, I see, guys. You're talking about his cat.
Oh, is it an orange one? Or
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's true. You change track names whenever you want. We don't recommend doing it a lot. Don't do it too much to where people might get like confused.
Yeah.
About it. But yeah, you can change it to add things like, buy one, get one. Because some people might miss that if they're not looking at your profile. So if you're running an ad for a track, you want people to know within that small ad space. Well, not small ad space. I mean, it looks exactly like every other track, but you want people to know just from that ad that you have bulk deals.
Yeah. You still want to keep the title the same. It's important to do that because especially if someone downloads a free track and they come back to your profile and they're like, where's this track gone? I don't see it anymore. So, you definitely want to make sure you keep the actual title the same, but you can add, existing text to it to, kind of entice people in more, discount codes, stuff like that.
And to go along with what we were talking about earlier with auditing your page, if you have a typo or something on a track, you can always go back and edit it. You don't have to start a new upload.
Yeah.
So all these things are editable,
Yeah.
In case you need to, for whatever reason. No changes. It's just a matter of quickness right now. Everybody's getting 100% on this quiz. It's just whoever has the quickest, whoever has the quickest fingers, I guess.
I think Grandtastic took note because they said they were jumping on the phone. So I think that does definitely help.
Okay, this one's for double points. Which of these should you check in a profile audit? All files are available for your tracks, social links, payment methods, or all of the above?
Cool. That was quick.
That was fast. Everybody was like,
that was super fast.
Yeah, you should be checking all these things along with so many more. Do a full sweep of your profile. Just click on everything. Make sure everything is working good or working well. Sorry, I don't know how to speak English. All right, let's see the podium. Who are our top 3? We got G-Life. We have Consiglious. And we have Fantastic. Congratulations to everybody. TV Beats runner-up and Albino or 5. Great job, everyone.
Yes. Great job. Definitely.
I don't know what to say. Good job. We hope you guys enjoy the show today. Hope you guys learned a bit. Hope you guys are excited to start doing promotions. We feel like it's a really great way to gain more visibility, get more plays, get more playlist ads. So if you feel like your profile has been a bit stagnant, running an ad might be a really great way to inject a little bit of life into your page and get some more ears on your beats.
Yeah, just to, build that brand up, build that engagement up, and just find some potential customers, of course, which is what you want. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, like Jamil said, hopefully, you took some really good stuff away from this week's show. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks with another BeatStars Academy session. Hopefully another quiz. So thanks again, everyone, for joining today. Thanks to you, as always, Jamil, for joining me as a host. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Peace out, everyone.
Take care.